My name is I am the I am, Tet Anka 10. My birth name is Lancelot Dwayne Robotham. My community knows me as Akira, and my medium is I'm a performing artist, dancer. Well, it has um, pushed me uh, inwardly to, be more, take my art, put more time into it, you know. So maybe when I'm home, if I wasn't normally stretching normally, now I'm stretching normally. Why? Because now I'm preparing my body so, I can reach for the excellence that I am, showing and reminding everyone that I am. So, I know that I have to, it's pushing me to keep up and push myself to the levels and heights I know that I can reach for that I'm not there yet. Yeah. So how has collaborating with different artists has helped to shape me as an artist? With the ALCA, well, I believe that sitting in the room with my other fellows that normally I wouldn't would be sitting in a room with, and I'm learning, each individual in the room what they do, and just not just with cohort three, but from cohort one, cohort two, and see the fellows that went through, and being able to upfront, be on the same stage with some of, his great talents, as well as, help me to see that, Hartford has it and that I can be a part of some of the greats here because Hartford has some greats, in all different genres. There's some greats here in Hartford. So I see myself amongst those greats. So, being exposed to them, it helps me to be able to eventually make a more tight communication and bridge some gaps. How does my cultural background influence my artistic expression? Well, I was born in Jamaica, in Kingston, Jamaica, fitting for a king, right? Kingston, there I was born in Kingston. Um, and, growing up in the countryside mainly, we're having to cross rivers to get home, and seeing, being growing up, was born in '76, so I was able to see a transition in music and dance and folklore, and when I was coming up before coming here to the U.S., folklore was a big part of what we did. I didn't have television and tablets. None of those things was not existing for the masses at those times. So having to use your imagination. I remember only getting an opportunity to watch TV at a certain time out of the day because after 12 o'clock channel goes off. There was no 24-hour television, so just seeing like Bob Marley on TV, knowing, hearing about this Bob Marley, being in Jamaica, growing up in the country, and know about Michael Jackson, like deep country, like where there was no electricity, kerosene lamp, that was your electricity. No running water, you go down to the river, fetch water from the river, bring it back up to your bucket or rainwater, that was your water, right? So and knowing about Michael Jackson and seeing how breakdancing was became popular down there. So just growing up and seeing things from a rooted perspective, and then as I got into the arts and I realized that the arts was for me, like Michael Jackson, for most people, he's an influence on a lot of things that I do, and then witnessing and seeing what African dance is and what tap dance is and what modern is, so, my roots that just kept me, grounded in a way and understanding that from the African diaspora, what we call African diaspora, what I'm saying, dance is the that is, we are the foundation, our ancestors are the foundation of, all forms of dance. So, yeah. What message do I hope to convey through my art? Now, that is a loaded question. It's a small question, but it's a loaded question. Um, wow. That we understand that God exists in us. We are created through artistic expression, right? From the way how we walk individually, our tone, our voice, the shape of our eyes, our nose, our fingertips, down to the things we choose to wear. Everything is artistic. So, I wish that my art will let people see and understand that, God exists in us and God is art, God is rhythm, and from that, there is no wrong way of expression, as long as you're not hurting anyone, there's no wrong way of expressing your art. What kind of impact do I hope to have on my artistic community? For us to understand that our history did not begin in bondage and slavery, right? But it's a complete opposite. And there was a global conspiracy to hide the truth as to who and what we are, incarnate in real time, and having the opportunity to travel to Africa, to Kemet and have those experiences. So, understand how dance is so influential in those ways. So I wish that, it'll be able to go past the boundaries of dance, and move into other areas of thinking, as well.